Hey everybody, Jason here again with the Lunar Solo LE by Six Moons Designs. And I've had a lot of people ask, how do I get this perfect pitch set up with the bathtub floor sides being nice and high and not all flat to where the mesh is basically almost touching the ground. So I'm going to go over here the technique that I use for setting it up, knowing that it is not the same as what Six Moon Designs puts in their instructions, but this seems to work for me very well, almost fail-proof, almost pretty much every time. This has been the best way I've found to set up this tent. So the key here for me is when I set up this tent, I do stake out the four corners, not the back center corner or the front one, but the other four I stake down. Not entirely taut, kind of loosely, just a little bit, and then I have the straps drawn almost totally out, almost completely out. I leave about the length of my thumb from my knuckle to the tip of my thumb. And I have large hands. I wear a size large glove, so you know this amount is going to differ for everybody. But it's about the length of my thumb, and it gives me enough to be able to grab it and tighten it. But I still have 80% of this adjustment strap in order to work with to tighten the tent up once I get it set up. So I make sure that every corner is like that, is loose, and I stake it down like so. Just those two corners on that side and the two corners on this side. And the tent is laid out flat. It's not taut, it's just laid out flat, and I've got it staked down with the stakes drawn out like that. Okay, now that you've seen that, the next thing with the pole, I know the instructions from Six Moons Designs says 49 inches for the length of the pole. Of course, when you're actually out there on the trails and in your campsite setting up this tent, it's not like you're going to have a measuring tape with you, so you're going to use your best judgment with that. So I go ahead and I draw it out to what I feel is right about that, anywhere from that 46 to 48 inches in length. Set the pole up here. If you don't have, somebody asked me about protecting the tip of your trekking pole. Most trekking poles these days come with some kind of a smaller rubber tip for storage purposes. If yours didn't, if the poles that you have don't have that, then you can go to a local hardware place like Lowe's or Home Depot or wherever and look in the hardware section. Sometimes it's like a furniture foot piece, that something rubber or soft, something that doesn't weigh anything, that you can use to cover up the tip. And then the elastic strap that goes around the bottom, around the handle of your trekking pole, you have that. So again, this is roughly 46 to 48 inches, and once I get this up here, I can usually get about another inch in height raised, an inch or two. So when I've found myself setting this tent up at home here and actually using measuring tape, I found myself with this trekking pole trying to get this perfect pitch. This trekking pole ends up being anywhere from 50 to 51 inches. So about an inch to 2 inches taller helps raise up this bathtub floor. That's been my true time over and over again practice of finding out that a slightly taller height on the trekking pole raises my bathtub floor up. You try it yourself at home, and if you disagree, you disagree, but I believe that that's what works. It's worked every time for me. Okay, so when I set up this trekking pole, I make sure that it is totally perpendicular to the ground. I have a full-blown 90-degree angle with the pole and the ground, and then I take the tie out here, and when you do this, if anything, pull it to where that trekking pole makes just a little bit less than a 90 degrees. So the pole is leaning just a little bit more towards you than that perfect 90. You know, but the key thing is that when you pull it out from this guy line right here, that it's not still leaning back towards the back side of the tent. So if anything, just slightly forward. And again, you can adjust the the base of the trekking pole, by a handful of inches either way. That way as well. So then the last thing I gotta do is get this back corner, or this rear center bit staked down. And again, making sure that my adjustment tabs, I got about a thumb right there, so that way I have lots of length of this strap to adjust. That's what I'm aiming for. So I stake it down fairly taut, but not super taut, so that way I have room to make adjustments all the way around the tent. And so then I'm just going to pull in all those tabs, all those adjustment straps are going to be pulled in about another inch, 2 inches maybe, at most. That's really all it takes. And then you'll see here, I'll show you that that once you connect the vestibule out here and tighten, adjust that out, it's also taut. There's nothing loose about any of it. All the way around, it's nice and taut. And this gives you a good bathtub wall height. Once I sit down in, once you get in here, along the back sides, you're gonna get at least 3 to 4 inches. A good solid 3 to 4 inches all the way around of the bathtub floor being raised up high enough to protect you and your gear from the elements once you get you and all your stuff inside. So, and I haven't even staked out the I haven't tightened everything up yet, and I haven't put out the side guy lines. That also helps in raising it. Actually helps in raising it up again a little bit more. Just a little bit more. Just really pulls everything out and lifts it up as much as possible. So definitely use your side guy line stakeout points. You'll find yourself feeling and literally having more space inside the tent using those side guy line pull-outs, tie-outs. So I hope this helped. Just be careful. Make sure everything when you're setting it up is not too terribly tight. When you're setting it up, if anything, leave it just a little bit looser, and it's okay. Most of the times you're going to have 1, if not 2 stake down points that you're going to have to pull a stake out and shift it a little bit here or there, and adjust the pole here. And again, I feel through my experience with this tent so far that the closer to that 51 inches, going towards 51 inches rather than staying at 49 or lower, helps in raising up the bathtub floor. So again, I hope this video was helpful for you guys who are trying to get that perfect pitch for the Lunar Solo LE 6 Moon Designs tent. That's it for me. Thanks for watching.